Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Convert Supporters with Powerful Landing Pages, presented by Jay Wilkinson. Jay Wilkinson is an entrepreneur and innovator who serves as the CEO of Firespring, a Nebraska-based certified B Corporation. In 2016, Firespring was featured in Inc. magazine as one of the top 50 places to work in America. And as a philanthropist, Jay has raised millions of dollars for nonprofits and spends the majority of his time helping nonprofit organizations leverage their mission and deepen their impact. He's a graduate of MIT's Entrepreneurial Masters program, and Jay has appeared on CNN and other national news outlets discussing the important role that nonprofits play here in our U.S. economy. So that is all about Jay today. So I'm really thrilled to have him here and available to share all of his information and insight with you all. So thank you for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jay Wilkinson. Hey, Jay.
Julia, thank you so much for that kind introduction, and we're going to jump right into it today. I want to share a little bit right at the beginning here about Firespring and who we are. If you look at our what, we provide marketing, printing, websites, strategy. We have thousands of brands, businesses, and nonprofits in all 50 states and in 14 countries around the world. We love doing what we do, but we really exist more for our why. We are located in Lincoln, Nebraska. We like to call that the middle of everywhere. And our purpose as an organization is to leverage our people, our products, and our profit to do more good in the world. And we do that through our Power of Three program, where we give 1% of our profits, that's our top line revenue that are donated back to nonprofits, 2% of our products, in-kind products and services, and then 3% of our people. And that's accomplished by having every team member in our organization volunteer for an organization or a cause of their choice for one full day every month, so 8 hours a month. And we hold that in really, really high regard as a team member who lives the values of our organization. So it's something that our people love about working here, is the fact that they get to go back into our community and to contribute in meaningful ways to organizations that they care about. So today we're going to dig into landing pages. Now, this is the most important thing, in my opinion, as it relates to your website, web strategy marketing. Not the most important thing in the world, but the most important thing as it relates to your web and marketing strategy that most nonprofits are not even talking about or thinking about. They don't put a lot of effort and thought into, well, do we need landing pages? And if so, why? And how do we use them? So today, I'm going to make you armed and dangerous. You're going to come out of this session with knowledge about how to use landing pages in such a way that will help elevate the responsiveness, the action that you get from the people that you serve in your communities, the donors, the contributors, the stewards of our nonprofits across the board. It's going to be incredibly helpful for you to think about, and we're gonna dig deep to make sure you understand. If you have questions at any point along the way, please go to the questions panel and send those across. Julia just shared some information on that before we started the recording. But if you're watching this or listening back on a recorded version, know that you can send those questions into Firespring and or attend the next live session. We have lots of them coming up, and we'd love to be able to answer any of your questions. So today, we're going to dig into what landing pages are, why we should care, our website as the foundation of everything we're doing as it relates clearly to landing pages, because that's where your landing pages live. We'll do a quick primer on SEO, and then we're going to jump into how landing pages crash, and because sometimes it's easier to know what not to do. And then dig deep into best practices. I'm going to share a ton of examples with you today of how other nonprofits are using landing pages really effectively and some that are not using them very effectively. Again, if you're tweeting today, please consider using the hashtag powered by purpose. That way others can follow along and share in your takeaway value. It's a great way to extend the learning beyond the session today. My handle on Twitter, if you'd like to refer to me as the presenter, is JWilk, Jaywilk. Now, a lot of the information I'm going to be sharing with you comes from my book, Captivate and Engage, the Definitive Guide for Nonprofit Websites. So if you want to learn more about anything we're talking about, that's your deep dive opportunity. All right, so landing pages. The term landing page was actually coined by this handsome gentleman who's on the screen now. His name is Seth Godin. Seth is considered by many to be the father of modern marketing, the evolution of modern day marketing practices in terms of how things changed as the web and internet became a thing. And Seth, way back in the day, this was close to 20 years ago now, he coined the term landing pages as the first page that a visitor to your website sees that causes one of 5 actions. One, it might get a visitor to click to go to another place on your website or someone else's. It might get them to give money or time, or to give permission for you to follow up with them by email, phone, or whatever else, to get the visitor to tell a friend, so make it viral and extend and propagate the value of the landing page. And the number 5, to get a visitor to learn something. So these are the 5 things typically that we see that create action around landing pages. It's really important to know that a landing page lives on your website. That's 99% of the time. There are a few exceptions, and I'll talk about that as we get a little bit deeper into the session today. But landing pages live on your website. They're part of the overall structure of your website. Now, not every landing page is a page that you can navigate to from your website. So if I go to your home page, I should be able to navigate to most of your landing pages, like go here to sign up for this event, go here to sign up to volunteer, go over here to make a donation. Those are all landing pages that I'm being led to. And again, a landing page is a page that causes action. It gets them to click, to give, to follow up, to tell a friend, to learn. It gets them to do something. So the core purpose of a landing page is to get someone to take action on whatever it is that you want them to take action on. So an example of a landing page, if you do a search for the words feeding hungry children at the first or the top page of your search results, you'll see that there's a landing page for an organization called No Kid Hungry. If you click on that link, it takes you to their website, but it doesn't take you to the home page of your website where you have to like seek out the information you're looking for. You know, I know that I typed in feeding hungry children. That gave No Kid Hungry some context as to what it is that I'm doing when I'm searching for that term. And it takes me to this landing page where it says No Kid Hungry, pledge with us. 45,289 people have already taken this pledge. All they're asking for is an email and a zip code. Take the pledge. It's clear. I know exactly what they want me to do as a result of landing on this page. And that's what a good landing page will do. So again, we're going to go deeper into that as we move forward. Why should we care? Well, according to Nonprofit Hub, they did a massive study a couple of years ago of nonprofit organizations that have websites that elevate the organization, that drives traffic to that organization. And they've learned that good landing pages are the single most common element among nonprofits who knock it out of the park with their web strategy. It's the absolute most important thing when it comes to having results come out of your website, and not just have an online brochure that people can root around on and find your mission statement and a few pretty photographs, etc. Good landing pages is what converts. We also know that only 8% of nonprofits today have a consistent landing page execution strategy. So here is a gigantic opportunity for those of us that pay attention to this to elevate our game and to do more, do better, get better results, get more people converting. So what I'm about to share with you is critical. Before we jump headfirst into landing pages, I do need to talk a little bit about the website that your landing page lives on. It's so important that we understand fundamentally how to build a powerful and engaging website. So I want to touch on that. We're going to spend just a little bit of time on this today. We're not going to go as deep as I would if that was our core purpose. But think about all the different ways that people get to your website. They might be coming to sign up for an event, or to volunteer, or to donate, or read your blog, or opt into your email program, whatever. They're coming to your website in order to do something. The vast majority of us in the nonprofit sector, what we do is we bring them in, they come into our website, and we send them right back off to some other module or widget or tool in order for them to have meaningful engagement. This is part and parcel to what I refer to as the WordPress dilemma in the nonprofit sector, because the majority of us, more than half of nonprofit websites, are built in WordPress. Now, WordPress inherently is not a bad platform. It's a great platform for many different things. But WordPress is not known for being easy to use. In other words, as a nonprofit professional who's focused on whatever we're focused on, building the important programs and services that we provide, maybe we're on the fundraising side, so we're a development professional trying to bring resources into the organization. Maybe we're focused on marketing, whatever our role in the nonprofit is, it isn't always being highly technically proficient and being really good at figuring out how to use a platform or technology. And nonprofits are notorious for struggling with getting their WordPress websites updated on a regular basis because it's difficult. It's not drop and drag simple. So let's talk about this. What should we do instead? We should build a website that delivers on the 5 elements of a powerful and engaging website. So I'm going to run through these for us really quickly to make sure that we're on the same page. Again, this is going to be just a couple of minutes today. Number 1 is your website structure. This is the high-level hierarchy that we build into our website to make it possible for me to get around, to navigate, and to find what it is that I'm looking for. We provide that by having options, different ways to navigate, like a pull-down or pull-up menu or a sitemap, a search tool that I can click on, type in words, and it takes me to those pages on the website that include that phrase or words. Your website structure is about making it really simple for people to find their way around once they're there. Number 2 refers to the design of our website. Now, by design, I'm talking about really just telling the story of your organization through the use of images and headlines. The words and pictures on the page should tell the story of your organization. A well-designed website will make it really clear, intuitively clear, what it is that this organization does as a result of me seeing what's on their front page. It's really simple. Tell the story through the use of words and pictures on your homepage and you'll kill it. Number 3 is content. Content is all about having deep, diverse information on our website that adds value to my life as a visitor to this website. What is it that you can provide? Information, studies, stats, stories. What is it on your website that you can provide to me that's going to pull me in, engage me, and really build this desire in me to want to connect more viscerally with this organization than I do just, or than I have before. But the most important thing with content isn't even the content itself. The most important thing is how we get that content into the website, because that is the number 1 barometer. It's like the faucet. If you can't turn the faucet on, you can't add content. You've got to be able to post content onto the website on a regular basis. And we've learned that if you rely on third parties, these incredibly talented and well-intended awesome people who volunteer for nonprofit organizations. I refer to the ones that work on our website as our go-to geeks. That's a term of affection, by the way, and not a term that's intended with any negativity. I serve in that role in many organizations that I have volunteered for over the years. But we want our go-to geeks to be able to update and modify everything for us. And in the beginning, it works great. The first 2 weeks, maybe 2 months, it goes great. But then maybe 2 years later, or just a couple, maybe 8 months later, life happens. They have a child or a third child, or they get a new job, or maybe their spouse got a new job and they're moving to a new community. Maybe they graduated from middle school and now homework is really serious and they have to buckle down and start studying. Whatever their situation, life happens and they move on. And someone else comes in and says, I'll volunteer, I'll help with this. And inevitably, those people want to do something different. But the key is we want to be able to make sure that the content is constantly being updated by people on your team, a minimum of 3 people on your own team internally, even if those are board members or volunteers. But 3 people minimum should have the ability to update and modify the content on your own website, and you shouldn't have to outsource all of that to someone else. So to do that, you need a content management system that makes it easy to do that. So if the current version of your website doesn't have an easy drop and drag version of a content management system, make sure your next version does. All right. Number 4 refers to functionality. These are the tools that we build into our website that make it not only possible, but in many cases necessary for us to use those tools as a visitor. If I'm a visitor coming to your website or any website, I need to be able to sign up, to volunteer, make a donation, sign up to attend your next event, whatever it is that you want me to do. Again, we need to have those functional tools built right in. Now, functional tools, the functionality component of your website is the one that's most closely related to the landing pages that we're going to be talking about today, because adding a powerful landing page strategy increases the functionality of your website hands down more than anything else you could do. So again, we're going to be digging into that. But number 5 is vitality. Simply put, vitality is the perception of the freshness of content. I'm going to repeat that. It's really important that we understand what that means. The perception of the freshness of content. So that when people come to our website, they land on the home page, they get this feeling, this perception that, wow, everything here must be updated all the time because I see dated content on the front page. And there's a silver bullet, there's a magic formula to this. And if you want to learn more about that, I would encourage you to come to our session. I'll give you some input on how to sign up for that here in just a moment. But we have an entire session based on how to build your website out using these 5 elements that we're talking about right now. But I want to wrap this section up today by just saying that we shouldn't have to choose between making our website, good or effective, or making it affordable. There's this mantra in the nonprofit sector that I've heard hundreds of times in my 30 years plus that I've been engaged in this sector, and that is that, we know that we're a nonprofit, so that we have to do more with less. We have to do more with less. How many times have you heard that if you've been around the nonprofit sector for a while? Well, I don't know that I agree with that. We should be focused on what the ROI should be, the return on investment, instead of how little can we spend. The right question isn't, well, what's the least amount we can spend just to get something up? The right question should be, well, how much do we need to spend to make sure that we have a positive return on our investment, so that we return that investment and we have an increase in donations or sponsorships or whatever, however you measure it, a decrease in expenses, however you want to measure it. The end result of building the website should have a positive return on whatever investment you put into it. And that has nothing to do with how little or how much you spend, but there's a threshold in there somewhere. We need to spend enough to make sure we have a positive ROI, not just spend as little as possible to get something up. And that's the key thing that I want to make sure I end that on. So we have sessions coming up. If you go to firespring.com/webinars, you can see all the sessions listed there. One of the most important, fundamental, foundational sessions, especially as it relates to this content today, is how to captivate and engage constituents with your website. I would highly encourage you to attend that session. All right, I also promised that I was going to touch on SEO today. SEO, search engine optimization, is essentially the art of being found. It's, who doesn't want to be found? We all want to be found as nonprofits. None of us want to be our community's best kept secret, which is what so many nonprofits unfortunately have to keep saying to their friends and associates in the community. We're Lincoln's best kept secret. We should stop saying that. We should no longer be a best kept secret. We want to be the best known resource. We want to be a thought leader in our space. And one of the ways we do that is we build our findability through search engine optimization. Now, there are a few fundamental things, and I'm going to just take, again, a little bit of time on this today, because the rest of our time today is going to be really honing in specifically on landing pages. But when it comes to SEO, something to keep in mind, that keyword phrases should focus on the name and location of your organization first. We know that the vast majority, in fact, more than 97% of people who are looking for you are actually looking for you by name and possibly some geographic locator. Like, I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. So if I'm searching for the Alzheimer's Association, I'm going to probably misspell it because I don't know how to spell it, but I'll type in Alzheimer's Lincoln, Nebraska. And that's going to take me to their website, I would hope. So first and foremost, want to make sure I mention that most people are looking for you by name. Now, for those that aren't, there are programs available to help you elevate your game. If you are not already signed up for Google Ad Grants and you are a 501c3 organization, then at the end of this session today, item 1A on your to-do list should be sign up for Google Ad Grants. you need to have great landing pages to take full advantage of Google Ad Grants, but you want to get the process going because sometimes it takes a couple weeks to go through the process. And then in the meantime, you can start building out your landing pages. So when your Google Ad Grants program goes live, you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready to start elevating the amount of traffic you're driving to your website. So Google Ad Grants. If you just go to google.com/nonprofits, you'll read all kinds of information about what they are. At a high level, you can buy ads. It's kind of crazy to think about, but Google, the reason they're, sending NASA astronauts to the space station right now is because they have so much cash, or actually that's Tesla, but they're all doing it. They're trying to, Google and Tesla and Apple are all working on self-driving cars and all of this high technology. In Google's case, they make so much money. Every time someone clicks on one of these ads, like $1 every time somebody does that or more, and sends people to landing pages. In the nonprofit sector, we want to save that money. We don't have $10,000 a month to drive traffic to our website on the small chance that someone will actually convert and become a donor or a supporter of some sort. So we can't afford these ads. So what Google Ad Grants does is it makes it possible for nonprofits to put a program together where it's free, but essentially on the front page of the search results, maybe not in the ad section at the top, but on the front page, there will be a link that shows up. It's like a 4-line ad, like the standard kind of line you might see on Google anywhere. And it takes people to a landing page. So here's an example: donate to feed hungry kids. If I click on that link, again, it's going to take me to a landing page that allows me to donate to feed hungry kids. So there's a contextual connection there between what I read in the ad and the page that I see. It doesn't take me to nokidhungry.org, their main site, where it has all the other stuff. It just takes me to a landing page that makes it simple and easy for me to donate right there. That's the key. But again, with Google Ad Grants, you get $10,000 of free in-kind advertising from Google as an organization if you sign up. A few things you need to keep in mind. The ads have to be text-based. They're going to appear on Google search page results, not other other search engines that are out in the world. And you have a maximum bid per click of $2. So you can't bid more than $2 on any one ad to try to get someone to come to your website. But every time someone clicks on the link and comes to your website, your account gets debited $2. As soon as you've run out of $10,000 over the course of a month, it just turns off. You don't get billed for the extra, for all of the extra clicks. Now, if you're using this in a substantial way, if you're going after it and you're consistently getting tons of traffic to your website, Google will actually allow you to upgrade your free account from $10,000 to $40,000 a month. It's pretty cool once you get rolling on it. Again, sign up for Google Ad Grants. Make sure you're taking part of that important program. All right, all that said, we're going to jump into landing pages. Again, I want to make it clear as to what landing pages are. All of these different ways that people can get to your website. They can click on a social media link like Facebook. They might go to Google, like we were just talking about, and click on an ad and connect over, or the search results page. They might get your annual letter in the mail. And in the letter of the mail, it's going to say, visit us at www.myorganization.org/whatever. You're going to create a specific link that they can connect to your website. Email marketing, whatever. There's all these different ways that people read and hear about the things that are going on that drive them to your website. This is really fundamental, but it's so important that we understand this. And so I'm going to repeat this one final time. It's important that whenever and however possible, that instead of sending people to your home page, that we send them instead to a landing page that allows them to take action on whatever it is that we want them to take action on. And on that landing page, it's going to have a very clear and concise call to action, so they're going to know exactly what it is that they need to do. So let's run through the anatomy of a landing page. It starts like this. At the top of the landing page, it will be completely stripped of the top line navigation, meaning that the About Us, Donate Now, all of those other things at the top are going to be completely stripped out. Only 16% of landing pages don't use navigation bars. And that means that, again, there's a huge opportunity for us to increase. If we remove those navigation menus, it will increase conversions by 100%. So if you were getting 2 conversions before, you're going to get 4 conversions next time. You're going to increase 100%. It's really important that we understand why that's in. And the same thing happens on the bottom. We strip out all of the footer navigation as well. What I recommend you do there instead is you put some testimonials that build trust in your organization, or maybe list organizations that you're connected with. If you're part of an association or alliance or the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, list those things down below to add credibility. But I highly recommend those things at the bottom are in grayscale. Use black and white. You don't use color, and you don't link them. Those are not links. There are only 2 things that we want people to be able to click on this entire website. One is the call to action. Now, we all know that when we see a call to action on a website, it's going to inform us as to what it is that this organization wants us to do. But there's something else that we all know. You and I have been around the internet, block once or twice. We know our way around the internet. So what happens when you or me or any of us click on the logo of an organization? Well, we know what happens. It takes you back to the home page of that organization, right? So if you click on the logo, that's how you get to the home page. So that should be an active link. Those are the only 2 active links on the entire landing page. I can click the logo and go back to the home page, or I can click on the call to action. There should be no other links taking me anywhere else, because that will maximize the effectiveness of your desire to get them to take action on whatever it is that you want them to do. All right, so then there's a powerful and engaging headline, and that headline will complement the anchor text that brought them there in the first place. So what's anchor text? So if on your website, or even let's say in an email marketing piece, you might have a sentence that says, hey, if you would like to participate in our upcoming walk for whatever, visit us at our website. And so you have this sentence that says, we want you to come visit our website and sign up for this event we have coming up. Whatever the headline that you're using in your email marketing piece, on your main website, in social media out in the world, whatever that headline says, it should complement the headline that they see, or the anchor text that they click on should complement the headline that they see once they land here on the landing page. So that's what we mean by anchor text. It's the underlined or different colored text that we know it's a link, because it's either got an underline or it's colored differently than the rest of the text. We click on that, it's going to take me to this landing page. The headline of the landing page and whatever they clicked on should complement each other. That's what we're saying. And then there should be some kind of graphic or image. Believe it or not, a powerful, strong, resonant photograph is just as powerful and just as effective at compelling people to action as a video these days. We've seen enough videos now. We've been at this long enough that we know that we can click and see 1,000 videos, and we won't watch videos that are longer than 30, 45 seconds in the sequence of trying to do something else. Now, if you're offline and say you're watching TikToks for 3 hours, you're going to watch a lot of videos, and you'll watch something longer than 30 seconds if it's compelling content. But when you're navigating a website, you only have a few seconds because they're on a mission. They're looking for something or they wouldn't be there. So we need to keep the videos short, and the videos need to be really compelling. Here's the other thing. The play button that lies on top of the thumbnail is what they call the image that represents the video that lies behind that play button. But that image should be in and of itself a powerful and engaging image. It should make me want to click on it so I can see what will happen when I click that play button. So a powerful photograph is just as effective as a video, so you don't need to go kill yourself on making videos, but if you have great videos or the ability to do that, that's fantastic. Just make sure the thumbnail sells the image itself, even if they never click that play button. And then we have our descriptive subheadline. We keep in mind that when someone lands on this page, again, we're pretty smart, you and I, we've been around the internet block. We know that until we click on register now, we've done nothing. Just by landing on this page, we haven't committed to anything. In fact, we also know that once we click on register now, we still haven't committed to anything because we haven't entered any credit card information or anything like that. We'll come back and talk about that in a minute. But the descriptive subheadline needs to clearly and quickly describe why I should take action. Because just because I might have clicked on a link to get me here doesn't mean that I'm ready to drop $100 in a donation or whatever. It's important that we sell them quickly, concisely, and in a way that is convincing that I should register now, that I should participate. And then, of course, the last part of the anatomy of a great landing page is the call to action itself. It's how we get the call to action to have substance. You know, we want people to take action when they land here. We don't want them to just visit the website or the landing page and then go do something else and then, you know, move on about their browsing day. We want them to take action, and that call to action should be stated in an active word in what you're doing. It doesn't say click here, it says register now. And again, we'll dig into that a little bit as well. A quick word about color. The way that we include color in those calls to action is actually more important than we think it is. It can have double-digit impact on whether or not someone will click on that button or not. It sounds strange, but it's true. It brings in, and it's true because we've data tested this. We have lots of tests where we've taken the exact same call to action, changed the color, and watch the change. It's crazy. Red creates a sense of urgency, and it represents energy and strength. Blue is all about trust, security, and stability. Pink is sensitive and nurturing. It's a feminine color and a romantic color. Orange, happiness, creativity, determination. Purple is wealth, extravagance, and luxury. Green is fresh and safe, also wealth and prosperity. Yellow is youthful, optimistic, energizing, and black is tied to luxury, brilliance, and sophistication. So think about what ethos you want to emanate from the page when someone sees the call to action. So think about what color your button should be, your call to action. So let's discuss the anatomy of a landing page. I'm going to distill it down. I gave you the entire broader version of everything, but I'm going to focus on these four things as I go through and show several examples in just a few minutes here. Engaging contextual headline, a powerful image or video to capture my attention, limited navigation, so I can only click on the logo to go back to the home page or the call to action, that's it. And by the way, your web designer very likely will fight you on that. They're going to say something like, oh, well, no, you don't understand. We have three types of pages. We have our home page, which is the main page. We have an interior page that shows like a section header, like the header to a whole section. And then we have like a content page where the actual content lives. So we have three page types, and all of those page types have headers and footers. We don't remove those. That's bad practice. Well, if someone tells you that, it means that they do not understand the research that is incredibly clear that when it comes to a landing page, there is a fourth type of page, a page where you should strip out the navigation headers and footers, and it will increase the likelihood that someone will click on your call to action. Again, 100%. It's incredibly consistent when we measure this, and it's really important that you fight back if someone is telling you you shouldn't do that. Or send them to the recorded version of this session and let them listen to me, and then they can come back and they'll probably tell you I'm still wrong. But I can cite lots and lots of research and examples that shows otherwise. So if we need to do the fact checker, it'll hold up to that. But number 4 is providing a clear call to action. Clear call to action meaning that we have one call to action and we know exactly what it is that you want us to do as a result of landing on your web page. So that's the important thing. So again, I promised before we jump into our examples and share some best practices that I would share 4 ways to make your landing page crash. Again, what not to do, because sometimes it's easier to know what we shouldn't do. So number 1 is when we provide way too many options. We see landing pages like this all the time, where it's like you walked up to this busy gas pump and you don't even really know what button to push next because there's so many things here. I don't know what to do with all of this. So many messages coming at me. 48% of landing pages include multiple offers. We need to change that and make it really clear as to what it is that they should do. Number two is when we have a landing page that has no image or video. It's just a bunch of text on a page and they're asking you to take some kind of action. And just lacking the image creates a substantial miss in terms of our ability to emotionally or viscerally connect with someone. This example that I have on the screen where it says, "Dear members of Congress, every year sea turtles travel thousands of miles to return to the beaches. Along the way, they face habitat destruction, et cetera, et cetera." It's missing the most compelling message that you can send, which is a sea turtle caught up in a net that someone is rescuing. It's so important that those images help connect at an emotional level. Number three is when we ask for too much information. We know that reducing the number of form fields from 11 down to 4 results in a 120% increase in conversions. The more things we ask for people to fill out, the less likely they are to fill it out. So this example that I have on the screen is a church, and we've been conditioned to believe that if text is read, then it's required. It's required text. So by that standard, we know that if we don't fill out or include our middle name and our pager number on this next form, then we may not be able to submit it. So you've got to reduce that information. Only ask for what you have to have in order to go to the next step. And by the way, best practice shows that the most impactful landing pages are landing pages where you have one page that allows me to go to that next step, where it might say, sign up for our event, or register to volunteer at our upcoming walk, or whatever, where we have these different calls to action. And then once they've clicked on that, it takes them to a forum that allows them to fill out basic information. That you don't include the basic information on the first page. You get them to mentally commit, and then in the next page, you sell them on the response and you get them to come through and commit. So number 4 is when we have an unclear call to action. This happens all the time. This example I have on the screen from Oxfam America, they have this great photograph. It's compelling. It pulls me in. A great headline: working together to end poverty and injustice. A respectable call to action: join with an email address. It's simple, it's straightforward, but then they had to go and mess it up by adding 3 more calls to action right under that. So my brain all of a sudden goes into hyperdrive. Which one do they want me to do? And what is it that I should do here? And it substantially diminishes the possibility that I'm going to take action. So have a singular and clear call to action. So with that basic knowledge, let's start evaluating a few landing pages. I'm going to share several examples. A lot of these that I'm going to share in this first early part are examples of what not to do. So my apologies in advance. This has only happened to me once so far. I was actually in a live session where I think I was in Washington, D.C. at a national event and had like 300-400 people in an audience talking about landing pages. And it just so happened that the executive director of one of the organizations I was holding up as a horrible example was right there in the audience. And she was mortified, of course. We had a really entertaining conversation after the event, and they fixed their landing pages, by the way, so it worked. But here's the first example I want to share: water.org. Again, we're going to apply. I'm just going to remind one more time, these are the standards. This engaging contextual headline that pulls us in, a powerful image or video, limit the navigation, and provide a clear call to action. So this landing page, they do a good job, I think, with their call to action. Start a fundraiser. The navigation is not limited, though. If you look up at the top, you see home, why water, sign up, sign in. We need to get rid of all that extraneous navigation in order for this to have maximum ability to return on the investment we built into it. The image and video, I think, is powerful. Here's one that I think does a great job. The image of the boys playing in a waterfall, I think, is really powerful. I want to click on that play button and hear the rushing water. I can hear it in my head just looking at the photograph. Very well done with the photograph. The headline: protect the planet that provides. It's powerful. They've got a simple and clear call to action. Take the pledge. They're only requiring one email address, and the pledge on the left-hand side, I'm going to point something out that is also important. Notice how the text is left justified and not centered in the middle of the page, which makes it a lot easier for the eye to read. So I can read down that pledge really quickly and easily, and I can take action. Very well done. This is a great landing page. Here's one from Nonprofit Hub. I'm using this as an example of both good and bad. The good part is this. Let's start with that. They had a huge response to this. They posted this 1 hour mission statement. It's a process of in 1 hour to go through. It's the step-by-step process to establish or reestablish your mission statement as an organization. It's been downloaded thousands of times, but they made one of the cardinal mistakes. They have a light background, so the green background with white text on top of it. It's really hard to read, especially if you're on a mobile device, if you're on a phone or a tablet. It's really hard to read that text. So we should never put light text on a light background. If you're going to use white text, it's got to be a really dark black or other really dark blue or some solid color background. You'll see also they still included on this page, they have their navigational links right there at the top of the page, which we need to get around doing. All right, so let's dig into a couple that do need a lot of work. First of all, Giddy Give. I love this landing page. I'm going to tell you that up front, but it needs to be fixed. There's one thing that needs to change. You'll notice they did a good job stripping out all the extraneous navigation. The headline, I think it tells the story. Now dinner with friends makes a difference. And then the subhead, NKLA is a coalition of animal welfare organizations, city shelters, and passionate individuals led by Best Friends Animal Society. We're dedicated to ending the killing of healthy and treatable pets in LA shelters. And then down below, it's got this little graphic that shows how it works. Sign up and you'll be entered to win. All of that's good, with the exception of the call to action. And I'm going slow here because I want you to notice this for yourself before I shout it out to you. What do you notice about their call to action? Well, it's that word submit. That is the absolute worst action word for a call to action. It means, what does it actually mean, submit? Don't use calls to action like submit or click here or just words that describe the functional utility of what you're doing. Have it describe what it is that they're going to do. Come up with action words that make it clear as to what I'm doing, and I'm way more likely to give. Makes a huge difference. Here's one from the Hearing Health Foundation. Or is it, if you look down on this website, is it the Healthy Hearing organization? Or wait a minute, there's all this stuff down here. Is it the Academy of Doctors of Audiology? There's all this full color stuff. And so all of a sudden, I'm confused right off the bat about who this organization even is. There's too many logos on the page. You'll notice that the text, as I pointed out earlier, on the left-hand side of this is centered. Look at how much more difficult that is to read. It's how difficult it is for the eye to follow than it is if it's left justified. You'll notice that everything else is pretty good. This is so fixable, this website, because they've removed all the extraneous links, or at least I think they have, unless some of these links at the bottom, unless some of these graphics at the bottom of the page somehow link off. But if they were just to make those grayscale down at the bottom, left justify this text and make it black on a much lighter background. So lighten up that blue and make it lighter, and then make the text black so that it stands out and I can read it. But the call to action is strong. The graphic is decent up top, the sign the pledge for hearing health, but I'm so confused by the multiple logos and other things. It's so fixable. Just a few tweaks and they could make this effective. Here's one from American Red Cross, and American Red Cross is a large organization, and their landing page is indicative of that. It's what happens when you get too many cooks in the kitchen. You have too many opinions because somebody somewhere said, okay, well, we've got to make sure that we've got to have all this navigation. We can't get rid of the navigation. Most internal web developers, for whatever reason, at most companies and organizations, are bound set to make sure that all of the navigational elements are included at the top and the bottom of a landing page, when best practices clearly indicate that that does not work as well. I don't know why they get so caught up in it, but a lot of people got involved in this, and we've got to have what we do and stories and news and events and find your local Red Cross. We've got to have a Spanish, language conversion. We've got to have all of this other stuff. There's so much on this page, and their call to action, where is it? I see make a donation in the center box on the right. Is that what they want you to do, or do they want you to tell your story? So many distracting messages on this one with too many cooks in the kitchen. Here's one from World Vision. Again, all the top line navigation. But this organization actually is close to nailing down a really great landing page as well. They have this directory of children that they support where you can sponsor a specific child. That graphic on the bottom, it tugs at my heartstrings. It's a beautiful photograph because every child is worth it. I don't know how anyone could look at that photograph and not be pulled in to want to help and support them. So that's a powerful image. But again, we're competing with that image at the bottom and then the image about Drissa up top. They're both powerful, compelling images. Let's find a way to focus in on what it is that you want us to do and get right to it and get rid of all the other extraneous navigation. Here's one that violates one of the rules that I just shared with you. It's putting all of the information, the credit card amounts, and is this going to honor someone? Is it a recurring contribution? Those are important things, but those should come on the second screen. The first screen should be Give Now. When you click on it and it takes you to a page that allows you to fill this information out, that would give you more room to take this photograph and enlarge it and make it powerful so that it just pulls me in. And I'll show you some landing pages here later that do that in a very similar fashion. IFAW, International Fund for Animal Welfare. Again, all this data on the front page. They're using the word submit, but at least they've said submit your monthly gift. It sounds like you have to submit to it. They're going to wrestle it away from you in some kind of violent act. So I don't like the intonation of the word submit in the call to action, but at least it does say your monthly gift. You'll notice that this page lacks a dominant graphic that tells me that tells the story of the organization I'm going to support. It needs that dominant graphic, and we need to put the address details and payment details on the next page, not on the main landing page, again, for it to be optimally effective. Here's one from the UN Refugee Agency in Canada. Again, long list of stuff. It looks like it's going to take me a long time to fill this out. They're asking for a lot of information, and the graphic is so small. If that graphic were large and dominant, again, so that it pulls me into the story, I'm much more likely to be interested. And again, they had to put all of their about us and privacy policy and all that at the bottom of the page. We need to get rid of those on landing pages. Here's one from change.org. It's about signing an online petition, and there's something really obviously missing here. It has no graphic whatsoever. Again, they're asking for people to sign a petition and to change, and there's no emotional motivation for me to be pulled into this page whatsoever. Still has the way too much navigation at the top and the bottom as well. Here's one from the philanthropic arm of Time Warner Cable. And I'm using this as my example because you'll see right there on the landing page, they're using a CAPTCHA. Type the words that you see on the page. If you're going to use a CAPTCHA, if you have to use it in order to minimize the exposure that you have to somebody spamming one of your landing pages, if that happens, and you need to add a CAPTCHA, use a modern day CAPTCHA, one that says, I am not a robot, that allows you to click on that and see it. It's so much more effective than the old ones that require us to get really diligent about leaning into the screen and reading all the numbers on the page. All right, so I'm going to now switch gears, and I'm going to share a few with you that I would consider front of the class. We're going to move these right up to the front of the class because they are killing it with their landing pages. And the first one I'm going to share with you is an example of an organization that doesn't have a dominant graphic. They're using the text as a way to create that graphic element feel. Join the global food revolution, but it's those words are displayed in a graphically interesting way that captures my attention. That the headline, add your name, is compelling in that, well, that's all they're asking for is me to add my name. Okay, I can see that. Again, they're message is left justified. I can read it easily. All they're asking me to do is sign the petition. And you'll notice at the point in time that I took this screenshot, they were at 98% of their goal of 275,000. They already had nearly 270,000 signatures. It was a very successful campaign for them. Here's one of my favorite landing pages. Powerful, effective, it works. From St. Baldrick's Foundation, an awesome organization based out of California that raises money to help fight childhood cancer. In fact, they have contributed more money towards research against childhood cancer than any institution outside of the United States government. They do really amazing work. But this landing page is powerful. This photograph of Zoe, meet Zoe, you can help save her life. Again, to talk about an image that pulls me in, I want to meet Zoe. I want to learn more. And then the call to action is find an event near you, because their organization is driven by events where people from the community come together and volunteer to have their head shaven. They put a price on their head, and if my friends all chip in $10 or whatever, and I can raise $1,000, then I'll shave my head at the annual event. So it's a really powerful process and way that they save money, and they do such a great job. This landing page is one of my favorites. But I'm going to go back to the one that I started this section with, Give. And you'll notice all I did is change the call to action. And this is interesting because we've tested this in an A/B testing, in terms of seeing what people would likely click on. Just changing the word submit to I support Give had a 22% increase in click-throughs on this particular landing page. I think that's fascinating that you can just change one little tiny little item, and it compels people to want to support and give. So think about your call to actions. What does the call to action need to say that will compel me to want to get involved? And please don't use the word submit or click here as your call to action. I mentioned early on in the session that there are a couple of other ways that you can do other type of landing pages. And one example of that would be Facebook. You can build a landing page into Facebook rather than have it live on your website. So keep in mind that you can also do that. Then you gather the information. You should plug that into whatever other tools that you're using to manage your contacts. Here's the most important thing of everything in terms of a compelling reason why you should be thinking about landing pages. Site visitors who enter through a landing page are 10 times more likely going to take action than those who start on your homepage. 10 times more likely to take action. Why wouldn't we want to build a landing page strategy that is effective? And here are 13 ideas for different types of landing pages that a nonprofit can build. Donate to our fund, support an artist, sign the petition, take the pledge, sign up to volunteer, register for our event, buy tickets, connect with us here. There are so many different ways that you can build landing pages. And I'm going to challenge you today that by the time you finish finalizing your notes from this session today, I'm going to challenge you to come up with 5 landing pages that you can build sometime in the next few months. And so that could be if you do 3 events, or you're going to have 3 events in the next year, even if it's an online or virtual event. If you're going to do 3 events in the next year, there's 3 landing pages right there. If you take donations from the general public, there's another one. Do you take volunteers? There's another one. It's pretty simple and fast and easy. Every time you have information, resources like a white paper or research that would be helpful, set it up as a landing page that allows people to download that information and as a PDF where they can offload it and share it with other people. That's another landing page. So many different ways that we can build landing pages, drive engagement, and create commitment from the people that we serve in our communities. Now, our mantra at Firespring is to educate without expectations. What that means to us is that we go out in the world, we find best practices, we seek out what the best nonprofits are doing, and we like to share it with the entire community. And so for just a moment, I'm going to switch over, and I want to be really clear. I'm turning the page, turning that corner for just a minute, for 2 minutes. I want to share with you what Firespring is working on to combat what I believe is one of the biggest challenges in the entire nonprofit sector, this thing of us always trying to do more with less. As a result of that, Nonprofit Hub tells us that 81% of nonprofit websites are designed for less than $1,000. And the result is that the average nonprofit has to start over on their website every 2 years or so. Meaning that the person that was building your website, my spouse is getting relocated, I'm moving, so sorry, I love this organization, but someone else is going to need to step in. We find that someone else, and the someone else comes in and says, this is awesome, I'm really excited to help, but I'm going to change the platform. We're going to do this a little bit differently because that's my preference. So we end up changing websites around. We lose all of our social credit because we're not doing our redirects properly, which is a different issue altogether. And we just keep having to restart. We're spinning our wheels. So this is the challenge that Firespring set out to solve. We have built the world's most effective foundational platform specifically for nonprofit organizations so that your website, everything that you've already built, the images, the graphics, the documents, everything you've already built for your website can be loaded into our content management system. And so now you have a beautifully designed website with all of your content in it, all in a content management system that allows you to update and modify that content whenever you need to. You don't have to go through a third party to do it. It includes fully responsive web design so that it's mobile friendly on phones as well as tablets. It has email marketing and automation tools built right in, so you don't have to pay for that separately to whatever email provider you're using now. It's all built right into the platform. Event registration tools that make it simple for you to manage and even simpler for your constituents to sign up and engage, to sign up for your events. Blogging tools and news feeds so you can become a thought leader in your space in whatever cause you serve. Turnkey landing pages, so everything we're talking about today, the ability to click and within 5 minutes go through the step-by-step process of launching a properly built, powerful landing page that you can direct people through all of your SEO, which also includes robust search engine optimization tools, not just the tools, but the education and how to use them. And then of course, fundraising campaigns, including the ability to take recurring donations, all built right into the website. And we layer on top of that legendary support and training so you can pick up the phone and talk to a real live human at any time about how to modify anything at all on your website. We're really proud of the platform. We do a lot of other things for nonprofits all over the world, but our coup d'etat is the nonprofit website. That's the thing that we focus on more than anything. And last thing I'll mention about Firespring is if you're interested in getting and moving forward, we actually will build for you a free custom landing page layout if you sign up before June 30th. You just go to firespring.com/demo to do that. All right, that's enough about us. I want to come back and talk about the educational stuff coming up. We have a lot of sessions coming up. I would encourage you to visit us at firespring.com/webinars and attend any of our other sessions that we have around the corner. All right, Julia, I think we're getting right at the end here. Do we have time to take one question that might have come across that might be relevant for the entire group?
Yeah, Jay, thank you so much. If we could take one question here, I think the best one for everyone would be from Courtney. She's asking if we have multiple calls to action that we're promoting on our website, would you suggest using multiple landing pages for all of these or one landing page that directs to each call to action? What do you think is best there?
Well, so yes, you should have a landing page for every call to action. The page that you're talking about that might have a list of all the different things that people can do is not really a landing page, it's a navigational page. But that page should exist. That's a great idea to have a page on your website that has a list of all the different events that you have coming up and give you the ability to click on one. It takes you to that landing page that says, this is what this event is all about, and it gives them the ability to sign up right there, or they can hit the backspace and come back to your navigational page and then go click on this other event, and then backspace or back arrow and then come right back to it. That's a really great strategy, but it's not a landing page, that's a navigational page. It's pointing them to the different landing pages. You should have multiple landing pages. Most great organizations have 20, 30, 40 landing pages at any given time on their website. Don't worry about having too many landing pages. It will optimize and make it more likely that people are going to engage and commence in a meaningful relationship with your organization. So don't hesitate to build lots of them. And then those navigational pages like you're talking about are a very effective way to direct people to them. All right, when you close the window down here in just a moment, a little window is going to pop up that will say, hey, would you please take this survey? It'll take you about 30 seconds to fill it out. And that's our cue to know that you would like to receive a copy of everything that appeared on the screen. We'll send you a PDF file of the entire presentation, as well as a link to the recorded version of the session that you can listen back to or share with other people that you think might be interested in listening. So thank you in advance for taking the time to do that. We are incredibly grateful for the time that you take. And speaking of that, Julie and myself, our entire team at Firespring, we are beyond grateful that you took a chance on us, that you set aside a full hour of your day to participate in this webinar. And the fact that you're still here at this point in the session tells me that you are among those people who constantly desire to evolve and learn and grow in your knowledge and skill set. And it's such an important quality. But thank you for trusting in us to guide you through this process. We do not take that for granted ever. The value of your time is the greatest gift you can give to us. And I believe that the noblest of all professions is to live one's life to impact others. And the fact that you have chosen, at least this part of your career, by nature of you being here today in the nonprofit sector, it says an awful lot about you. So in case you don't hear this often enough, thank you for doing what you do. Have a fabulous afternoon. Now go take on the day.